We're going to solve some more systems of equations. Today we're going to pick any method that works most conveniently with that particular situation. So we're going to see solving by graphing, we're going to see solving by substitution, and we're going to see solving by elimination. If you need some refreshers about any of those three methods, go watch the previous videos that we created. First off, we're going to start with graphing. You can see these two lines right here. We're looking for the intersection point of the two graphs. These, however, are a very special situation. The slope on this one is -2/4 or -1/2. And the slope on this one is also -2/4 or -1/2. That means that since they have the same slope, they're parallel lines. And we know from our previous experience that parallel lines never intersect. Well, if we're looking for an intersection point and they never intersect, that must mean that there is no solution. So this is an example where there is no solution. So I'm not going to do any other work on this. I'm just going to write down that we have no solution. All right, let's move on to our next example. Here we have two equations given to us, and you'll notice that they are both solved for y. This one is ready to go for substitution. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to substitute it in place of y because I know that y equals that stuff. I'm going to put it over here in this equation. So that gives me 2x minus 4 in place of y here. And on this right side, we still have -2x minus 4. Let's go ahead and solve this by getting all of our like terms together. We'll add 2x on this side, and we'll get 4x minus 4 equals -4. Let's add 4 to this side, and we get 4x equals 0. -4 plus 4 is 0. Divide by 4 to finish that out, and we get x equals 0. Let's plug that back up into here. I'm going to choose this one because I have positive values for that x. I like that. So let's put that in as y equals 2. Our x value we now know is 0. So here we're going to write 0. 2 times 0 minus 4. 2 times 0 is 0 minus 4. So we get y equals -4. We're finished with this one. 0, -4. So the last one didn't have a solution. This one does. Let's take a look at this one. Now both the x and the y variables are on the left side, so I'm going to choose elimination on this one. I like that when they are both on that side, but they don't match up yet. So I'm going to have to change one of these equations to get them to match up. I'm going to change this -2 into a -4 so that my x's match up. I'm going to accomplish that by multiplying by +2. That will give me a 4x and a -4x. If I do it to this term, however, I need to multiply this also by 2 and this also by 2. That will give me, let's see, -4x. This gives me -4y. And over here we have +8. All right, I'm going to rewrite this down below so it lines up nicely. That gives me +4x plus 4y equals -8. And I chose this one so that you guys can see that these both end up matching up. We have a -4 and a +4, -4 and a +4. Those are going to eliminate each other, so our variables are going to be totally gone. Let's see how we handle that. So when we add these together, -4x plus 4x is 0, -4y plus 4y is 0, and 8 plus a -8 is also 0. Lots of zeros on this one. So we get 0 plus 0, which is 0. And 8 plus a -8, which is 0. And from our previous experience of solving equations, we might recall that from this situation like this, the variables never mattered in the first place. They don't make a difference. They end up eliminating each other, and we have something that is true. So any system or any ordered pair that works for this equation will also work for this one. It'll make it true. So here we have infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many solutions. Okay. Take a look at this one. You'll notice that this one is almost exactly the same as the last one, but I've changed this number. Instead of a 4, we have a 5. So if I do the same thing right here, we end up with -4x minus 4y equals +10. And here we have 4x plus 4y equals -8. And so these are both going to eliminate again. We end up with a 0 on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side this time we end up with a 2. And 0 does not equal 2. So this is a situation where there is no solution again, but it's a what we can see from equations instead of a graph. If we were to graph these two lines, we would notice that they're parallel. So no solution. Let's do one more. I want to show you this one as a refresher of how we handle elimination when it doesn't match up nicely and we've got to change both of the equations right here. So we've got 3 and a 4, which I can change both of those to a 12, or a 2 and a 5, which I can change both to 10. I'm going to pick both of these so that we have to deal with changing one to a negative number as well, and think about that. All right, so I'm going to change this by multiplying it by 4. That would give me 12x. And I'm going to multiply this by 3. That would also give me a 12x. We need to stop and think about positives and negatives. If I did this, they would both be positive 12x and they wouldn't eliminate. So I need to make one of them negative. I'm going to choose to multiply this by a -3, so this becomes a negative 12x, and then we'll be set up for elimination. Now let's make sure we do everything the same to both sides of the equation. We're going to multiply this by 4 and multiply this also by 4. And this we need to multiply by -3. This we need to multiply by -3. All right, let's go ahead and do that. 4 times 3x is 12x. 4 times -2y is -8y. And then -5 times 4 is -20. -3 times 4x is -12x. So we have those matched up, ready for elimination. Awesome. 5 times -3 is -15y. And we can see these are not going to eliminate each other. So I can see right now that we will have a solution on this one. And 47 times -3 is -141. Add these together, we get 0, so those are gone. -8y plus a -15y is -23y. And over here we have a -20 plus a -141. That gives me -161. Divide this by -23. Divide this by -23. 161 divided by -23 is 7, I believe. Let's see. Yep, 7. And we get this that we need to plug back in now. So we're going to take our y value of 7 and plug that back in here. I'm going to pick this one because I like the smaller value of 2 right here. So that gives me 3x minus 2 times our y value, which is 7. So we're going to put a 7 in there. And we have equals -5. All right, 3x minus 14 equals -5. Add 14. We get 3x equals +9. And then we can divide by 3 to finish this out, and we get x equals 3. So we now have our solution. Our x value is 3, and our y value is 7. And we are good to go. Thank you.